Hey everyone, are you ready to be fired up? Today we've got Kate Schnetzer. She is an award-winning video producer and marketing strategist. So this is going to be right up my alley. You guys know that it's all I talk about. And so if you're ready to hear from an award-winning professional, then sit back. This is the podcast for you. Are you wanting a kickstart on your business and you want to learn how to be the go-to professional in your industry? Well, guess what? I've got a challenge for you. It's 5 days of coaching. It's brand new. Just go to KristaMashore.com/client conversion. That's KristaMashore.com/client conversion. And you'll get a training with me for 5 straight days that's going to help kickstart you as the go-to professional in your industry. So sign up and I'll see you there. Hi, Kate. How are you? Thanks for being here. I'm excited.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited and I'm fired up.
Yes, I know. So am I. All right. So, and just for the record, I'm not feeling the best. I kind of have a little bit of the flu symptoms going on. So my appearance is a little bit off and my energy is as well. So I'm just going to put that out there. But thanks for being here. I didn't want to reschedule this. I wanted to make sure we kept it because I talk so much about video and I believe in it so much. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so I own a boutique marketing agency. We do video all day, every day, and work with some of the biggest names in their industries, experts, coaches, CEOs, global leaders, creating video that helps them create more income, influence, and impact.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about the strategy behind that. So like if somebody comes to you, like let's just say me, for example, and I'm a real coach, obviously a marketing coach, but let's just say I was a local professional. I said, hey, Kate, I want to help me out. Where would you start?
So the first thing is we work on messaging with everybody because how you come across on video and what you talk about is kind of important if you wanted to actually do something for you. So that's the first thing we always look at. And we really look at kind of what you want video to do for you. And it's my belief that it can make an impact in everybody's business, no matter what the industry, if you do it right. But our big kind of zone of genius is creating really high-end looking video that positions people as an authority in their space and doing it we basically batch film with them. So we spend 4 or 5 days, shoot all of their content for 6 months worth. And then we create other pieces of assets, other content from that video. So technically they only have to show up to film once a month for a week, and then they're set on video for anywhere from 6 to 12 months. So what we try to do is help them create that kind of omnipresence online when they're really busy and don't have time to actually be online themselves.
Yeah. That's like a long day, huh? So they're with you for 4 or 5 days. And I mean, don't they get tired?
They do get tired. Your brain is a little mushy at the end, but what I hear a lot is at first of the whole thing before, like their first time shooting with us, but by the end they had so much clarity in their messaging because we made sure that they stayed clear in their messaging and they had to present it in a way that came across on video in a really succinct way, that it was like a huge strategy session even for them, even more than video. But the thing is they just don't have to show up anymore. So they just do it once, one and done, go about your merry way, go focus on what you are a genius at doing. Not everybody's like us where we just like want to show up on video all the time. Like I'll go on video every day, all day. Most people, they're just like, I just want to be done with it. So we just take care of it.
Well, a lot of people, they don't know what they always like, what do I say? What do I talk about? They're worried about everything. Or, like me today, I'm not feeling the best. My hair is a hot mess. I haven't washed it in 4 days, because I'm sick. But I'm just like, oh, screw it. I'm going to do it anyways, So, but yeah, so then you help them. Are they using scripts or is it like on a teleprompter?
So we have teleprompters available. We try to encourage people to not use teleprompters as much as possible. So we do help them outline everything. We have a really extensive film plan to make sure we capture everything we need, calls to action and transitions and things that they would normally need. And then most people don't need teleprompters because they're used to talking about their area of expertise. We tell people, you want to talk to the camera just like you're talking to your best client, that client who you can get the best transformation, the best results, and you're just talking straight to them. And when we can get people in that frame of mind, in that zone, and they know we're going to make sure we get all the the calls to action and the introductions, we'll get that all separate and put it all in there later. They can just focus on just being amazing. So
yeah.
a lot of times what we can get them to do, and they don't have to worry about a teleprompter.
So then they take this content, they put it on Facebook and use it for ads and Instagram and YouTube and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we try to figure out the way to get the most amount of video from every long form video that they do. So if they do a 10, 20-minute video, if we can squeeze 5 to 10 other videos out of that, better. We'll then send transcriptions to their team so they can make blogs and newsletters and social media posts or whatever. So we try to make it as streamlined and leveraged as possible, because if you speak on it once, you should be able to use that content in many, many different ways over time.
Yes. And what does something like this cost?
Anywhere from, we have packages where it's in a group setting and then we do their editing and they shoot on their own, and that's about $2K a month. And then anywhere upwards of $25 to $150K, depending on the size of their package, how many things they need done.
Yeah, for the year. Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what a great little niche you've got going on.
Yeah, it's super fun, and I could just do it all day. So it's like that, finding that kind of spot where it doesn't feel like work.
Yes.
I'm in like heaven every single day with my clients, so it's great.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the messaging. So you say we figure out their messaging. So let's talk about, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, what does she mean by my messaging, and how do I find out what my messaging should be? Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah. So I would say first, most people, they try to be very clever with their messaging and very creative, and that's fun, but nobody knows most of the time what we're talking about, right? Especially in the coaching space. So the first thing we work on is really, we want messaging to be clear, succinct, and almost like stupid obvious. Like anybody, like I always say, like you go to your reunion, you go to your high school reunion, you go to your family reunion, anybody that you talk to there should be able to understand what you do in a sentence, right? Because like in the industry, people might understand, but we want those people who have no idea about anything that you do to get an idea of what you are, who you help, and how you help. So that's the first thing that we dial in. The other big thing is having people be able to succinctly explain how they provide transformation or how they get results for clients. Because a lot of people, they know in their, okay, when I start a client, we do these foundational things, then we do this, and then we do this, and we get the result, right? But they don't know how to communicate that, especially on video, in a way that makes people go like, oh, not only does she get whatever my pain point is or whatever issue I'm having, but she has this system and this process to take me through to get me the result at the end. So that's the next thing that we always work on. So they can explain that on every video. They can explain a piece of that on every video, and it makes sense to people.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing with messaging is a lot of people on video, they know they're supposed to do video, or they should do video. Somebody told them, or maybe they're converted, they believe it, but then they have maybe discomfort about going on camera, or they just don't know really what to say, but they're doing it. They're doing the thing. So they go on and they present on camera, and it's 25 minutes of nothing, and maybe like 2 minutes of goodness, So we work with them on also in video, going through a process on every single video that gets everything across that they want to get across, provides a lot of value, and keeps the viewer actually engaged through the whole thing. So they're not like flailing about verbally, which it's easy to do that, but they're really getting to the point and taking the viewers through a journey.
So what is that journey? So when you say, okay, here's each video should be X, Y, and Z. Can you walk the listeners through what that looks like when you tell your clients, and so they're not just flailing and saying a bunch of nothing, the systematic steps of the video?
Sure. So the first thing is if people are going live, I always start with telling people, the minute you click go live, just start, right? Like don't wait for people to get on and like have this conversation with like the two people that actually are on, you just start. Now, if you're pre-recording your videos, you don't have to worry about that, but I start with that. I want every single client of mine, no matter what industry they're in, to always introduce themselves in that really clear messaging way. So who they are, who they help, and how they help. So people who are coming on get an idea of who they are. We always have them do an intro. So what are you going to learn? Like why should the person watch the video? What are they going to get from it? And what's the big promise of that video? Even if it's a little promise, you're promising that person something that's going to do something or make some sort of impact in their lives or in their day or in their hour or in some sort of way. So we get them kind of hooked. We always encourage people to add on some sort of engagement prompt or something to get people talking, because engagement is what drives more and more people to see those videos. So we want to tell people what we want them to do. So maybe that's commenting, maybe that's liking, maybe that's asking them a question to answer below. And then we have them go into their content. So we usually say 3 to 5 things you might be talking about. You move through them in a really succinct way. Towards the end, you summarize everything that you talked about. You do another call to action, whether that's promotional call to action or engagement, and then you end it. Typically, we have people work on an ending that gets someone to want to do something else. Like, hey, I'm going to be live next week at 7 o'clock, or I'm going to be back here tomorrow. Check out the next video or go to this last video, something that moves them around our ecosystem. So and that seems a little overwhelming at the beginning, but what we do is we just have a 1-page script, and it's like little fill in the blanks when people are first starting. And so it just takes them, and then they keep it up, and then they start working through that. And then the more that they do that, and they've got their little guide, and they just, okay, you're gonna go, start from here, just work your way down. After a while, it just becomes second nature. And then we can add other layers of complexity to it. So we can start thinking about, okay, how do we talk on film so we can repurpose it later? So we can chop it into 5 other pieces. But first we get them doing that kind of flow. And by, 5 or 10 videos in, they've got it down.
Yeah, great. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you guys do all the editing for them and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I like to say you guys get to do all the fun stuff, and we'll do all the not so fun stuff. And,
yeah.
A lot of people so editing is like hard for a lot of people. Like there's apps that you can do, but if you really want to do a good job and make it branded and, it's just time consuming. So I have a team of editors who all of our clients, no matter what level they work with us they get all of their editing done so that they can the more video that they can do and focus on doing that video and not dread the post-production stuff, the happier I am, because they're much more willing to do video if they know they don't have to edit it.
Yeah, at the end of it. Good. And so now what do you see video doing? I mean, I talk to people about video all the time. I always say it's one of the key contributors to my success in both my companies. But it's like people sometimes I think I'm preaching to the choir, right? So what I'd like to do from you, what do you feel, how has video really truly, how does it help people?
I think that right now is the best time to be doing video ever in history. Like COVID was not an enjoyable experience, and it's a problem, obviously, but for this industry especially, and for entrepreneurs who want to stand out as a personal brand, as an expert, there's no better time to be doing video, because people are more willing to watch video, consume video, be warmed through video, opt in for videos, even be sold to through videos than they've ever been. It's more acceptable than ever at all levels of business. But what I think video really does, that I think is like the magical piece of it, is it allows people to show who they are in a way that both repels people, which is great, but also attracts people. And it shortcuts the process of, like, when I get on a sales call with someone, they're already kind of converted. They already know what I teach about. They might not know every little intricacy, but whether they saw some content of mine, whether I sent them videos in the process of getting them on calls, they already know. They know who I am. They know, like, hey, I vibe with her, I do not. I've talked to them about my team. I've talked to them about how we do things. And so it just makes the process so much easier, because they're already connected to my brand. Or they're not, and they cancel. So it's a really, really unique opportunity that most people miss out, because most people don't like to be on camera, and most people feel like they have something about them that is going to make people not want to do business with them if they show up in that way. And what I tell people is, no matter what quirks you have, or like weird things that bother you about yourself, or, your voice on camera, or whatever it is, these little things that people have that stop them from doing video, that's actually going to endear people to you. And video is the only thing that can do that, where you can actually attract people just speaking, just showing up. And everything about you that you're self-conscious about, they're actually going to like, they're going to come to you, and they're going to love how you present. So that's one of my favorite things about video. I think video is just going to get cooler and cooler with more. There's all sort of interactive options now that people can add into their videos, where people can like click on something and go through their own video path. You've got augmented reality and video coming. So video's here to stay. It's just going to get fancier and fancier. And so we need to stay up with the times.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's so true. I mean, the whole repelling part, like you're detracting people that don't want to work with you, but you're attracting the ones that do. And so it just makes the whole working relationship easier. You enjoy your clients more, and the conversion is easier because they're already sold. Just like they already kind of know they want to work with you to begin with. So it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I always tell people, if you ask 100 people if they'd like to do video, 2 out of the 100 will say yes. They're the weird ones, right? Like 90, they were the weird ones. And I don't like doing video either. I mean, I've just been doing it, so it's easier. But I still get nervous, and I still like, oh, what am I talking about today? Or my hair, or I don't feel good, or I hate my voice, or these things always come up. It's just a matter of pushing forward and pressing forward and doing it. So what kind of results are you seeing your clients that do this? What are they getting? And then also, how long does it take?
So it depends on the client. We have a lot of our clients are transitioning from like a successful career, a successful business, and they're looking to kind of elevate their personal brand and shortcut that whole process, because they've already done the hard work in their career or their business, and now they want to really step forward as this personal brand and thought leader. So for them, it can be really quick. Sometimes we get people results in the first quarter, and we get where they want to be in the first quarter. Sometimes it can take 6 months to a year, just depending on where they're starting at. Every client's different in terms of what results they want. Some people just want straight thought leadership. Some people want leads. Some people want more eyeballs on their videos. Some people want it to warm people better so that they can increase their close rate. So what we do is we look at every single client and say, what are the actual goals? How do we reach them through video? And then we start to track that and make sure that we're optimizing it. So, we have one client who she started, she was transitioning from a successful law practice, and she was making about $10K a month just doing coaching on the side to lawyers. And she wanted to get up to 6 figures, just doing consulting on the side. Within about a quarter, we had her to where she wanted to be, and that was just having her show up every week on video. She had leads coming every week. There's some clients who, hey, I want to build an audience of 100,000, and I'm only at 20,000. Well, that's going to take longer. So
Yeah.
we can get there, but it just takes longer. So it's really about what people want and what they're willing to put into it, and how patient they're willing to be. And what we always try to think about with video is like, what are the short-term gains that you can look for? And what are the long-term gains? Because that's the cool thing about video, is that you're doing things in the short term, but you're building assets, you're building equity, you're building brand over the long term, which is priceless.
Yes, absolutely. I lost my train of thought. I was going to ask another question, and it went out in one brain and out the other brain. So this is one thing. I mean, video is great, but if no one's seeing it, that doesn't make a difference that you're doing video. And that's one of the biggest things that I teach my audience, is that video is amazing, but if no one sees the video, and that's the problem, is that getting organic engagement is, you're doing it, but you're really only getting organic engagement from your friends and family and people that already know you. What is your advice to people? Obviously I know I have my advice and what I teach and train, but what do you tell people about actually getting the exposure? Because that's where the key comes in.
Yeah. So there's always a place for organic, but I always tell people, your organic is where you want to just be nurturing people who are already kind of in your ecosystem, right? And certainly there's people who they put out videos and it goes viral, and we all want that, but that's hard to do. I always recommend people allocate a certain amount of budget to advertising, but also looking for public features like this is a great, being on your show or getting out there, partnering with other people and doing joint ventures. But the quickest way to get results with video is advertising for us. When somebody's willing to put any budget forward for advertising, we can get results so quickly because we're able to micro target the people that they want to reach.
Yes.
The nice thing about video is that the ad spend cost, like the cost to actually run video ads, is exponentially smaller than a lot of other types of ads if you do it right. And you can just go provide value, get people to watch more videos, and then you can bring them into your little organic world and your group, and you can nurture them in however it is that you do that. I'm always surprised the amount of people who aren't willing to do advertising. Like it's like this like, oh, you don't have to ever do ads. You don't ever have to do advertising. You don't ever have to put any budget forward. Like you can do that, but it's a lot longer of a path. So that's the results I've seen. People who are willing to do advertising, they're off the charts successful very, very quickly comparatively.
Yeah. Yes. And what's the average budget you would say?
So I have clients who do $300 and $500 budgets all the way up to $50,000, $100,000 budgets a month. So I think it just depends on what kind of results you want to get, and how quickly you want to get them, right? Because
I feel like I'm talking to myself. I say the exact thing. Well, let me ask you, how quickly do you want to get there? And, what's your objective? Because that's going to determine how much money you should spend, And also, too, it's really good to if you're somebody who's trying to get exposure on a local level. So, for example, you're a real estate agent, a lender, an attorney, a doctor, a dentist. In most cases, chiropractor, you're going after local people. You would be shocked. I mean, if you were to spend $1,000 a month on your marketing and advertising budget on Facebook running ads to get your videos out there, you get hundreds and thousands of impressions, hundreds of hours of watch times, thousands and thousands of engagements. And I'm not exaggerating at all, because we teach people across the country how to do that. So it's absolutely, it's attainable, it's easy, and it's manageable, right? So when you go everywhere, you start becoming this little local celebrity because everyone knows you because they're seeing you over and over and over and over again.
Absolutely. So we went to do right before COVID, we were working with a mortgage brokerage here in St. Louis. So I'm in St. Louis. Like most of our clients are not local, so we travel to everyone and have an international and national client list. But they found us and they knew we did mostly personal brands, and they said, well, we want to start personal branding through video our brokers and all of our people. We want to position us as this expert in the space. And so I started looking at more traditional industries and looking at who was actually doing advertising. Because I said, you can do video, but you need to do ads with it. And we partner with agencies to provide ads. We don't do it in-house. But then we work with them to create the campaigns that the client needs. So I started looking at these traditional industries, and like nobody was doing any ads.
Nobody.
And I was like, do you understand the opportunity that you have here, even just in the local market? And they were looking to expand nationally. I'm like, we can just blow the lid off of this thing. And I'm just shocked with how few people are willing to do it, because it blows my mind, because it's just such a shortcut, and the competition is nearly, there's no competition in a lot of these industries.
Almost all of them. I always say, like, okay, go right now and pick like 10 professions, insurance agent, realtor, lender, dentist, lawyer, doctor, car wash, window washer, nail salon, whatever. And does anybody stand out? And everyone's always like, no one stands out, because no one is marketing themselves. If you're in a certain profession, let's just, for example, you're a realtor, you know who the top realtor is because they're the top realtor. But unless that top realtor is marketing themselves to brand themselves, to get that authority and that credibility on a local level, so they're showing up all the time, no one is that go-to top of mind. And the nice thing is that anybody can quickly become. So even if there is that go-to person that everyone's using, that's like the go-to number one divorce attorney or realtor or lender, as soon as somebody comes in and starts positioning themselves as the expert, creating content, adding value, constantly giving advice, showing up over and over and over again on people's feeds, very quickly they then can overcome and beat the person that's just been the top producer by default.
Right. And the top producer by default, they're still doing billboards, and
yes,
they're doing like all traditional marketing, because that's what they've done for so long, and they just are who they are.
Yes.
Anybody can come in and take that over. Anybody can become the king of their industry or the queen of their industry super fast. They just have to be willing to put, and even ads, even just like the cost for ads is like actually smaller than you would spend for normal, average, traditional marketing. And it's totally agile, right? Because like, okay, this isn't working, I turn it off. A billboard's not working, well, I guess I got to rent the billboard for another month or 6 months or whatever my contract is. You just turn it off.
Yeah, people are willing to spend $300, $400, $500 to be, on a one page in a magazine when no one's even seeing it or watching it. But to imagine having somebody watch a video of you, getting to know you, developing a relationship with you, and really positioning yourself as the expert over and over and over again for that same $500 or $600 is just insane to me.
Yeah.
So this has been really refreshing. I love it. I believe in this. I do this. I teach this. This is what we teach with our coaching company. And, once people can get over their own self and get over the fear of doing the video, it does get easier. But even though it gets easier, it's still, it's not that it's simple, but it's not always easy, right? It's really a simple thing, but it's not always easy. But it can be learned and it can be taught, no matter how old or young or thin or heavy or purple you are. It doesn't matter. Anybody can learn to do this. Like we've seen people just completely, brand new people in an industry, within 6 months or a year, be the top person just because they're being exposed so much. So this is great. So what's the name of your company, Kate?
So it's Kate Schnetzer Marketing, but you can go to videowithkate.com and find out more about kind of what we do and kind of get into our world. And we're always doing fun classes and master classes and trainings and things like that on video. So if people are just getting started, we're happy to help them on the journey. And if they're ready to level up even more so, we can get on a call, do a video audit with you, kind of go over what everybody's doing great, what we can improve on, and how we might be able to help.
So videowithkate.com.
Yep.
Video with K with a K, KET.com. Okay, Kate, great. Thank you. And I always end this way. If there's something that you could say to our listeners to add value to their life, either personally or professionally, what would that be?
That you have an area of expertise, whether it's from your life experience or professional experience, and somebody out there needs to hear what you have to say. Someone out there needs that expertise that you have to move them forward in their life or their business. And it's your obligation with your message, with your experience, with the impact that you can make to share it with the world. And even if it's a small way or a big way, I hope that you'll do so.
Oh, that's great. So don't be selfish, everybody. Like, share your talent, share your knowledge, share your wins and your losses, because it will absolutely add value to somebody else. So Kate, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. You were amazing. I love the confidence. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me today. I really appreciate it. It means the world. But remember, learning is great, but without implementing, nothing happens. So now it's time to go and implement. Make it a great day. Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called F.I.R.E.D Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free, and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.